Well, Pearl opened her big mouth again. Today she's talking about submission women and what the cost of that is. Now, if you don't know who Pearl is, again, I've talked about her, and Pearl, um, Pearl has 2 million subscribers. She's also been demonetized, which is unfortunate because she deserves to be, you know, to get paid. But again, YouTube is Big Brother, so you don't really have a choice. So today she's going to be talking about um, submission and what that actually means. So let's go ahead and let's kind of get into this now. I'm going to bring up her and we'll do a little commenting on her. And here we go.
Okay, so today I want to talk about what does your submission cost? So, I think to start this conversation, the most important thing is that we define submission because oftentimes as women, I think we use words and we don't often understand what they mean. So, the definition of submission is the act or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. So, some examples that I can think of is a police order. If the police pulls you over, you have to listen, you have to obey their orders. I mean, some of you try it. Some of you guys, you try to not listen to the police, and then I mean, some of you guys fuck around and find out. Okay, look, but in general, if I'm pulled over by the police, I say, hey, and when I was young, they taught me put your hands on the wheel so they know you're not grabbing anything. Whatever they say, listen to you, or sorry, listen to them. And, we're taught to submit and obey police officers.
I mean, when you get stopped by a police officer, you should have your driver's license, registration, and insurance in your hand. That's how you get in good with a police officer. So no matter what, they're the enforcers of the law. Let's go on.
Another example where you submit and obey is with bosses. So I got my first job out of college working at a plumbing tech company. And this was the epitome of a startup, guys. I didn't know anything about plumbing. I did not, but my job was to sell plumbing technology to plumbers. And I had a lot of responsibility at this startup because there was only like 3 or 4 people, but it was cash, it was paid really well, it was amazing. It was like the best I did it well, I guess it was a part-time job because I did it when I got my it was like a certification I was going back to school for, but who cares, right? Whatever. Anyways, I knew that I had to listen to whatever my boss said. So if he said to make sure that you are doing email marketing today, I would do it. If he said, this is what we want to do on social media, I'd say, okay. I didn't really, it didn't matter to me if I thought he was right or wrong. There was times where this guy, he would say things to me that I thought were absolutely incorrect. But I didn't care. I mean, I was getting my paycheck regardless. And I just did the best I could and I listened to what he told me.
It also with, as men, if you grew up and you were coached, I was coaching football and basketball, baseball. I've had bosses. You you are submitting to them knowing more than you. That's the way it is. You want to get better, go your way. You want to not you don't want to get better, go your own way. If you want to get better, you have to listen to the coach. So you have to submit. This is not a bad thing. This is if you deciding you want to be better.
And this mentality to me carried over into my early 20s when I got my first sales job. At this sales job, I I made sure that I listened to what my bosses told me. I showed up early, I stayed late, I worked hard, and I took a lot of pride in working hard at these jobs. But what something that was never taught and isn't taught to most women is being obedient to our husbands. We're told to be obedient to the police force. We're told to be obedient to our teachers. We're told to be obedient to our bosses. But for some reason, the average common man that is in a relationship, it is damn near impossible for them to get obedience, to the point that we have changed the word boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife to partner. What does partner signal? It signals that we are equals, and this is a business partnership and it is equal. Why should a man marry you if he doesn't get authority in his own home? So, what sparked this conversation was actually something I saw on Twitter. Now, obviously, this is very fitting. Okay, like this, the name of this account. A chick called Dumb Bitch Capital. Okay, expecting your wife to submit to you when she works and pays half the bills is like asking her to sit in an economy seat where she paid for a first class ticket. You realize the average woman makes like $40,000 a year. What bitches are getting first class tickets? None of you guys. It's like I think 8% of women make over 100K. Which of you bitches are getting first? None of you can afford first class. Shut up. Get out of here, okay?
Now, I want to talk about half and half. Okay. Yes, we're in an economy now where both people have to bring in money. I mean, it didn't used to be that way when I was growing up, but then things changed. My mom already was a nurse. Kids were growing up more. So she went back to work to make some money because the kids were already in school. Okay. But being half and half of money has nothing to do with really equality. That is just a money thing. But the man is the one who is going to have to show up at the door if a robber comes in. You see the man go after him. The man, and it's always said here, I will take the blame for everything as the man. It's not your fault. It's always going to be my fault because that's my responsibility as the man. We were built, created by the Holy Spirit to be the strong one. And that's just the way it is. It's innate in a real man. So let's go on, Pearl.
So I responded to this and I said, my grandma married a fireman and had 13 kids for him. She worked part time the entire time and full time at times because she cared about the family more than herself. You can bet your ass she did not bitch about having to work. Women of the past used to marry average men, work, and still submit. I guarantee your job today is easier than working on a farm 100 years ago. Why do you, as a 30-year-old woman, have any right to have any expectations of traditional outcomes from a man? If you choose a modern path, expect modern results. You do not qualify.
And you see, most of the time now, women, look at my wife, she has more degrees. You know, she was able to, from her 20-year military, was able to go to school and have it paid for. Now, that was not for most of us men. We had to figure out something. So, you know, in my thing, it takes two brains to work it. Okay. But at the end of the day, who's the one who's going to be responsible for everything when something happens? And so you men take, if they don't take pride in it, then they have some more growing up and perhaps they shouldn't be the one to get married. And if a woman feels this way, then perhaps she shouldn't get married either if she's not going to do this. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, somebody has to be the head. It never works in a partnership. I've been in partnerships, they don't work. One wants to be ahead than the other. And that's just the way it is. Partnerships don't really work.
Did I cook or did I cook, guys? Now, look, this is
Yeah, you did cook there, Pearl. You did cook. So, again, it comes down to who is going to be the one that's responsible. Okay.
not meant to be a dig at anyone. Guys, I am not in the business of babysitting adults. You're an adult. I'm an adult. You can pull this down for, yeah. So you're an adult. I'm an adult. It's not my prerogative. I don't care. I seriously don't. I'm not in the business of being one of those liar influencers that pretends to care about what strangers do with their lives. I care about my little sisters. I care about my brothers. I care about my parents. But I care about maybe the people my family interacts with, friends, employee, but do I care what you like? We had a chick call in from China. Do I care what some chick in China is doing halfway across the world? I don't. Sorry, guys.
And so, what that ends up meaning is that your circle becomes smaller. Okay. As you get older, you're not going to care about what people think other than what's going on in your own house. And so, this is about the social media thing that at the end of the day, no matter what, you heard Pearl. She's doing this to make a living by spitting out these facts. But at the end of the day, she nor I really care what anyone thinks outside of the ones you love in your circle. Just remember that.
Not my problem. But we have to ask ourselves what kind of lifestyle you're looking to have as an adult. And oh wait, hold on. And if we qualify for it. Now, I'm actually not fully certain that this chick was 30. I think she's just late 20s. But I don't really know. But regardless, remember, what is a traditional woman? She prioritizes the family first. Traditional women marry before 25. If you guys do that, younger women, you should learn. Remember, on average, it takes like 4 years to get a ring. Okay? Or a kid. Unless you guys are some irresponsible single mothers. I mean, that's a different one. You guys do not count. You don't. You are not counted. If you had a kid before 25, that doesn't count. Okay. So, traditional women marry before the age of 25. They do. Okay. So, modern women marry after 25. Prioritize career. Nothing wrong with that. But remember, only 1 out of 4 women gets to be a housewife. Yeah. Yeah, ladies. We fought to work. We're working, bitches. And to be honest, I wouldn't even say most women are really natural mothers these days. Most women don't grow up with maybe one sibling. Most women did not spend a ton of time with.
So, kind of an ending here. As you can see, there's a difference between a traditional woman and modern women. Now, I'm part of the baby boomer. So, I know a lot of you, of course, I don't look like a baby boomer, but again, there's two different ways to go there. Is the traditional way or the modern way. And at the end of the day, and I know about lots of ladies that are over 25. I know ladies over 30 who figured out how to be a traditional woman, some who didn't. Now, thank you, Pearl, for those pearls of wisdom. We have a part two on this. But the bottom line is we all have a certain amount of submission. Okay. Now, whether or not you want to be, you don't like that word, but ladies, gentlemen, we've all had to submit. Every month now, every month, you have to pay the water bill, pay the mortgage bill, pay the electricity bill, pay your internet bill, pay your taxes, make your car payment, insurance, food, your kids' clothes, however long you want to go with it. You're saying, well, that doesn't sound like that's not submitting. Yes, it is. Because if you don't, you pay the price. So, yes, submission is, somebody call it a bad word. Okay. But submission comes in different layers. People, we all have to have some type, there's a hierarchy. It's just in the system that we live. So you're either going to be in it or you're going to buck it. And if you're not a human being, you're not going to do this stuff. You're going to end up homeless. And if you're not willing to do this in a relationship, you're going to be alone. And at the end of the day, you don't want to be alone. The older you get, the more you realize that what's the most important thing. And that's love. That's, submitting to something. And at the end of the day, it is empowering. That's what it is. So listen, I have some other two videos you want to listen to. I will be seeing you on the next one. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Pearl. Keep up the good